Molweni, ndingunothando Meje. Welcome to yet another episode of What's Your Story, the series that journeys into the past in order to connect us to our present. Our history is a tapestry of great stories woven together by each triumph and their sacrifices of formidable women and men, fearless warriors who stood strong in their truth. Uwambulamge is to uncover those stories and to pay tribute to those who came before us. Njengolutsha waseMzantsi Africa, we need to acknowledge a past yethu so that we can face ourselves in the future. Memories are brief snapshots of the past. The passage of time marches slowly yet purposefully. Join me as I document the stories of those who have great compassion for others. Along the way, I help the people I meet to build a memory box made up of memories that best define what shaped them. And this week, our memory box goes dancing. Gladys Bullock, a teacher, dancer, mother, daughter, and a woman who has great love for abantu. Elibali like of how she struggled to pursue a passion in dancing, while in a commitment anayo for teaching abantu who live with disabilities is truly inspiring. So stick around as we witness the healing power of mculo. Gladys has always loved the art of dancing. She first started doing ballroom dancing with her brother at the community center in Pontyville in the late 1960s when she was about 14 years old. She was forced to quit classes as the family could not afford the fees. In 1976, at the age of 21, she began ballroom and Latin American dance classes in Sea Point. And in 1988, she started her career as a dance teacher. Gladys, what started your love for dancing and why specifically ballroom and Latin American?
If you can remember years gone by in my era, they had the dancing called lang arm. And it wasn't like we have the sophisticated ballroom and Latin American dancing. We used to call it lang arm, and it was the in thing in Cape Town in the 60s. And that's what everybody was doing. And as a young girl, my brother was playing soccer and the other one was playing rugby. And they always had these dances and I wanted to go. And all the old men used to take me for dancing and I used to love it. I didn't know at that time that this is what was actually going to lead me to where I am today.
Gladys, why did you decide to start teaching dance?
As I grew older and like I said, when I turned 21 and I went into this ballroom school, I was so curious to know more and more because I don't think my actual coach was qualified. And I started going for my own lessons and I wanted to just find out more and more. And then I discovered, no, man, I wasn't taught properly. There's no ways that other people in this world must be trained by unqualified people. Hence the reason I started going for lessons to get qualified and started teaching.
Gladys, would you say that dancing increases someone's self-esteem and self-awareness?
Definitely. When you see people walking around, especially the disabled people, they are cringing for us in everyday life. They sit in a corner. Once they get to the dancing school, they first look at you as if you are like crazy. And after a month or so, then you can see that everything changes. The smiles, the laughter, the joy that comes out of it. They're meeting people and they're meeting people that doesn't discriminate against them.
Gladys wazalwa ngo-1955 esuka kwi-humble beginnings. Yena kwa nefamily yakhe bebehlupheka. Wakhula nabantwana bakokwabo basixhenxe kwaye nabazali bakhe kwindlu enegumbi elinye ePontyville, ilokishi just outside Cape Town. Umama wakhe esebenza ichaya and utata wakhe ekoleka imigqomo for the Cape Town City Council. Nge-mid-1980s baye bamuvela apha eStramfontein, a suburb on the False Bay coast. UGladys ke usahlala nabazali bakhe. Gladys says that you've had a huge influence on her. Why do you think she says this?
I think because I encouraged her and I always supported her.
Yes.
Okay.
What kind of person was Gladys when she was younger?
Very cheeky, but very vibrant.
Yeah.
Very active. Very sweet, I must say.
What was it like during the apartheid years and how did it affect your life?
I would say it affected all of us, but, you know, we respected the government and we stayed clear of. Stayed away out of the, how shall I put it now? We didn't get involved, you know?
Yes.
But in 1976, when they were still at school, they also went with this riot business, and I just fetched them from school. Okay.
Miss Bullock, has Gladys always had a passion for dancing?
Yes. So very young, about 5, around about 5, 6, and she started to dance, you know. She used to go to the community center in Utrecht, in Pontival. And there she started dancing. Like little ballet and so on.
Gladys was classified as a Cape Coloured as defined by a Population Registration Act yaka 1950. Uyafundisa umamakhe to accept the political situation that was around her. Gladys was never active kwi-struggle se-apartheid, kodwa became aware of injustice kwaye oppression ngokubhutaka bengumfundi in the late 1970s. Gladys, what are your memories of the apartheid years?
Well, all I remember is that group Areas Act thing, because I know I was born and we stayed in Goodwood, and from Goodwood we moved to Kensington, and from Kensington we had to move and we went to Pontival, okay? And I remember that we always had these trains that we had to travel on, and we had to walk far, and the buses, and we couldn't live in certain areas, and that is why we were, I don't know, chucked out of Goodwood and we ended up in Bonteheuwel.
Gladys, were you afraid to become politically active in the struggle?
What, Lolly? Are you crazy? My father would have killed us. We were not allowed to get involved at all. That is why he fetched my brother out of the police van. No, definitely not. It never crossed our minds because we were told to honor and obey. And I think, you know, today's children are not scared for their parents, but I can tell you at my age, I am still very scared of my parents. And you just obey whatever they say. So it was a definite no-no, taboo for politics.
Pontival iye yaba the most militant coloured township in 1980s. Most yolutsha ke baye bashiya indawo zabo ukujoyina i-MK e-Exile. Kodwa abo baye bashiyeka ngemva engaged into militant activities. Abantwana as young as 12 became active kule group, and members akhona were constantly running away from amapolisa. Ndiye ndayithetha nomnye wabo ukuva bekunjani back then kwi-1980s. What was the situation like in Pontival during the 1980s?
Pontival in die 80 in die veral die 1985 was 'n no-go zone vir die polisie gewees. En ons was soos amper soos diere was ons gehand gewees. En ons was gearrest gewees 1987 of God uit die bus uit.
What was the reason for the formation of the Pontival military wing?
Hoekom Pontival military wing gevorm was 1985 was eintlik as 'n defense mechanism. Ons het onsself as studente georganiseer om as units te kan operate sodat ons ons targets, want dit was beste politiewene, polisiemanne was targets geweest, omdat hulle geassosieer geweest het met die vorige government, namelijk wat een beheer was van die nasionale partij.
What was the youth response to the killing of the comrades?
When Ashley Curl was shot, his funeral wasn't as a normal funeral where people went after his funeral to the graveyard, and it was a violent funeral because we engaged the police during and after the funeral for the rest of the day. And that is what happened whenever there was somebody killed who were comrade of us.
That day the police even shot us at his coffin. And you're looking at the two guys that was one of the bearers that carried the coffin to other church.
Did you know that his slogan, Solucha, during the militant 1980s was freedom or death.